had an experience ongoing for the last couple of weeks. So I moved into a basement apartment after I got married, or around the same time. It's about 9 months ago. And it's been great. Love the place. My upstairs neighbors are great. I've known them for a long time. They're super duper nice. The only issue is our neighbors, like in the other houses around us, are a little bit stingy. They're the kind of people that, at any inconvenience or little thing that they're not a fan of, they might decide to call bylaw on you. And I don't know if any of you have ever had a neighbor like that, but they're persistent, and they are annoying, and they are anonymous as well. They will not admit who they are or show you face off. They will just call bylaw, or they'll call someone on you. And they warned us that our neighbors were a little bit like this way back when we moved in, and had a couple issues. But like here in the wintertime, if you're parked on the street, you'll get a ticket, like at night anyway, overnight. Because the plows have to come by and clear the snow and all that stuff, so that makes sense. But I didn't realize that there's also a bylaw here in the summertime. If your car is parked on the road for 3 consecutive hours or longer, you're in a violation, and that you're worthy of a ticket if bylaw comes by and notices. So, like, I grew up on a street where, like, me and all my neighbors, we would just park on the street in front of our houses. It's in front of your house. It's not like it's a super busy street and there's lots of space. It's wide enough to go by even if there's a car parked on both sides. So I grew up that was the norm. And my neighbors did it. As long as, like, it wasn't excessive, we wouldn't even get annoyed about it. The street was always full of cars parked on the road, but big deal. Like, that's what a street's for, is cars are going to be there. Now that I've moved, and I've recently learned that, that is a bylaw, because I got a ticket. I parked my car on the road in front of my house, and I come home, or my wife came home, to find a ticket just on the window, and it says, you're parked for more than 3 consecutive hours, blah, 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 blah. And the thing is, bylaw doesn't know how long I was actually parked there. And yes, I was parked there longer than 3 consecutive hours, but it wasn't in front of any of my neighbors' houses, and it's during the day, so most people are at work, and I was like the only car on the road, so it wasn't like there was an excessive amount of cars causing traffic issues or whatever. It's just, I get that it's a bylaw, I understand, but a warning would have been nice. Actually, we did get a warning, to be fair. We got a little piece of paper that was a print-off from the website, the city website, stating the bylaw and whatever you can or can't park. And it highlighted the part that says being parked for more than 3 consecutive hours. And that's when I learned, and this was like on a Sunday that we found that in the mailbox. I'm like, oh, that's weird. So clearly a neighbor doesn't like me parking on the road. Okay. Who is it though? What neighbor? And it's not that I want to go and have an argument with them. I just want to know what the problem is. Because it's one thing if, like, I'm parked in a spot that you want to be parked in, I understand. That's fine. Fair enough. You have a car that you want to park there every once in a while. I can respect that. There's plenty of road I can move. I don't give a crap. Like, it's not a big deal. Going on Reddit after all of this happened and I got the ticket, going like, is it really a big problem? Am I not normal, thinking that, like, who cares if you're parked on the road? Turns out I am crazy. And one of the questions was like, question 1, for people that, seem to have a problem with people parking on the road, why? And question 2, is bylaw really the best solution? And then there was a whole Reddit thread, and it seemed like every person pretty much was saying, you should know the rules, you should know the laws, and, if you get a ticket, that's your fault. Or if you move into a house and you have more cars than parking is available for that house, that's your fault and you deserve to get a ticket. Or you should just sell your car. Like, okay, but what if I move into a basement apartment? So there's already a family living upstairs, and now there's my family, or my family of 2, living downstairs. They have 2 cars, we have 2 cars. Each adult has a car, which is pretty normal these days, but you can only really fit 2 cars in the driveway. unless we decide to, one car straddles one side and is hanging off on the grass, and the other car straddles the other side and is hanging over like the walkway, and then another car can fit sideways in the boulevard between the sidewalk and the road if you really want to squeeze cars in there, but then no one can get out. So in a situation like mine, which maybe is unique, but I honestly don't think it's that unique anymore because no one can afford housing anymore. Rent is super duper expensive, and I'm super lucky and super blessed to have the living situation I have because we have a basement apartment, which is a sizable space for a pretty good deal, and I'm very grateful. I'm not trying to complain. I'm just genuinely curious why is it a problem that I parked my car on the road? And if I could talk to this person that seems to have such a big problem with it, I could tell them, oh, what are we doing, people? This is not, like, you can't walk yet. Advance left, you goobers. All right, so I just want to know who it is that's calling bylaw on me. I don't want to yell at them. I just want to go, hey, I'm sorry this upsets you. What can we do to resolve this problem? Because right now, how it is, we have too many cars that I can't fit in the driveway, and I can't park sideways on the boulevard between the sidewalk and the road of my driveway because, one, that's also illegal here. You're not allowed to do that, even though it's like, yes, the city technically owns the first little bit of the, like, every lawn and the boulevard, but like, who else is gonna park there? No one. So can I park there? No, I can't. So I can't park sideways for many reasons, because I'd be blocking my neighbors if they ever had to go. They have kids. If there's ever an emergency that they have to leave in the middle of the night, my car's going to be in the way. So I can't park sideways. I can't park on the road. So now I have a car that I just can't park anywhere without having an issue. And technically, because I know the bylaw to a T now, between the hours of 11 p.m. and 6 a.m., you can park on the street legally, no problem. But you can't do that between the hours of 6 a.m. and 11 p.m. at night. Why? Why can't I park on the road? Like, I get if a car's just sitting there all day long, never moves, it's an abandoned car, sure. And especially if it's a big car, like a freaking truck or something, that's also annoying. But mine's a little car. It's a Hyundai Accent, 2008, so it's this freaking big. And I'm parking in front of my house. So, again, I want to know who it is that's calling bylaw on me so I can go, hey, how can we resolve this problem? What is your issue? Is your issue where I park? Is your issue that I'm parking on the road at all? And if so, okay. Why though? Because I don't get it. So I want someone who has a different perspective to explain it to me so then maybe I can understand. And if not, if we still are at a disagreement, so be it. But at least I know who it is. Because, like, I have to pay all these tickets, and this is like the third ticket that I've paid now. And obviously every time it was because someone called bylaw on me. Because one time in the winter, like, yes, and again, during the winter time, you can't park on the road at night. I forgot. Okay, I left my car. But typically, bylaw only comes by if it's a snowstorm in the wintertime and a plow has to clear the roads at night, and now there's a freaking car parked on the road, so the plow can't properly clear the snow. And obviously, the plow's going to call bylaw. That makes sense. But this is like during the time in the winter where there's no snow. It's basically springtime. And yes, I left my car overnight. My fault. Bylaw got called to me, and it's obviously a neighbor that is watching the road like a hawk. Annoying, and I'm frustrated, and obviously I'm a little angry and heated, but like I genuinely just want to talk to the person and get the perspective, because it's out of my ability to understand and sympathize with the opposite perspective at this point. I get the law, I understand, I'm a law-abiding citizen, but I think it's a stupid law, and that's a fair point to have. Obviously now I'm respecting it to a T, because I don't want to pay freaking tickets all the time. But it's also one of those things that I grew up in a situation where no one called bylaw on each other for that kind of thing. So she parked down the road innocently. Not a big deal, in my opinion. Anyway, I'm sure there's lots of people that feel differently, and I respect your opinion. I just don't understand it. And I think that's I think that's fair. I think that's kind of life. So all of this encompassing. I went with my wife. We got the ticket, we saw the note in the mailbox. I'm like, okay, obviously a neighbor's annoyed. I forgot, left my car on the road, and then I talked to my wife. I'm like, okay, like I want to at least find out if we can what neighbor it is and have a chat with them. Like, I haven't done my due diligence since I moved in as far as getting to know your neighbors goes, because I don't know. I'm young too. I'm not used to the whole living in a house that's not my parents, so meeting people on my street is something new to me. But I was like, okay, let's go and try and knock some doors and introduce ourselves to our neighbors so they know who we are, and we can go, hey, so have you had issues with parking on the street and this kind of thing? Kind of just introduce it naturally, as naturally as we could, and just kind of get a vibe check from the people that we meet. And, you know, if I do find out that, oh, maybe this is the person that's frustrated with it, I would apologize and go, hey, let me start by saying I'm sorry, we've been parking our cars on the road, and if that's a nuisance to you, that I understand, I'm sorry. What can we do to resolve this? So me and my wife went and we knocked our neighbor's door, and they're an older couple. I've seen them like mowing the lawn kind of over the fence in the backyard from time to time, or them leaving to walk their dogs. And both cars were in their driveway, and they have a garage that was like partly open, so I'm like, people are home. So we went around dinner time, like 5 o'clock, and knocked the door, and they have like one of those little Ring doorbells with the camera. So I ring the Ring doorbell, and it rings, and it immediately goes to voicemail, which I was like, that's kind of weird. And then it's like, yeah, leave a message. So then I try and quickly leave a, hi, this is me, this is my wife, blah, 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 blah. We got a notice in our mailbox, and then it timed out, and it was like, and we had just left a little note in their mailbox with my name, my wife's name, and our phone numbers and contact. We're like, okay, that's the best thing to do. And we went to another neighbor. Same thing happened, basically. And I was like, okay, these people are home. I can hear them moving around. Are they purposefully ignoring us and avoiding us? Do they know who we are? If they come to the door to talk to us, we don't answer, kind of thing? I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking it, but it was just odd. The time of day, that day in the week that we went, like I was like, and obviously they're home, all the cars are home, and I saw them walking around not an hour ago. So I'm frustrated. I genuinely want to get to know the people as well. I want to be friendly and civil with my neighbors, but my main thing is I just want to know who's calling bile on me, and I just want to go, hey, so you called bile on me a couple of times, you were fully in the right, but what can we do to resolve this? Because obviously, with my parking situation now, it's going to happen again. I'm going to forget, or I'm going to get lazy, and stuff happens. Sometimes you have to park on the road in the residential area. This is why we live in a residential spot, and I don't live in downtown or wherever. I want to have some place and some leniency to park, and I already hate having to have so many cars that I do. I don't want to have 2 cars. Like, me and my wife have our own car, but we need it for work and stuff. And then I have this freaking work van, which is another thing. And I don't even know if I can park this work van, because I've been parking it on the street here usually, or now I'm parking at my parents' because I know my parents' street is chill, so I can leave it on the street at my parents, and then I drive my car and go pick up. Like, I had to do a weird workaround, which, you know, adds another 20 minutes to my morning routine getting to work and stuff, just because I'm worried about getting a freaking ticket every other day. So I'm just gonna follow the rules to a T for now, and hopefully I can talk to the people. But my question is genuinely like why do people have such a big problem with this if it's like not obsessive? Obviously I don't have 4 trucks that I park on the strip down the road. I have a little car that I sometimes park on the road in front of my house. I'm respectful, I'm quiet. Why am I the target? I feel like it's always the guy that makes the least problems that falls victim to these kinds of things. And meanwhile, there's some dick that has a giant truck and running in the morning and flying around, and he's parking it up on the curb whenever he can. And that's the guy that pisses everyone off. And then I'm the guy that becomes the victim of people taking it back and calling the police and bylaw. And I like looked around and been more like observative. Am I retarded? What's the word? I've been looking more and observing my street since this happened, and I've just noticed people lurking around. Like there's this one guy, and he was just sitting at the end of the street in his car, and he's got his glasses on, and he's kind of just looking around and watching people drive up and down the road and walking. And he sat there for like an hour and a half because I came home from work at 5 and I saw him sitting there just chilling, looking around. And then I went out to the store with my wife, and he was still there, and we got back and he was still there, same spot, chilling in the car on the road, window open, looking around. So it was at least 45 minutes, and then I think I came back out again to check the mail, and he was still there. So people are just being weird, and I hope that it can be resolved peacefully. But like, this is the kind of thing that's like, having neighbors can be a blessing and also a hindrance, because it's really a freaking lottery gamble if you're gonna have people that are chill or not. And I just want to be able to park in front of my house on the road every once in a while. This is a nice area, and I'm being nice, and I'm assimilating. Or at least I thought I was, but now I have to assimilate to the parking rules to a T, or else I get beheaded and lynched. Like, it's just upsetting. So I'm just salty because I've had to pay like $75, $80 in parking tickets since I moved here, and I've been here for 8 months. Dumb. And 2 of them I've had to pay in this freaking car, the stupid work van, because I have to drive it around. And I would like to keep it at work, but I'm worried because my job office is in a sketchier part of town, that if I leave it at work parked, someone's gonna freaking break into it, because my work van has a lot of valuable stuff. One person breaks into here, not only can they steal the whole damn car, they can take really expensive tools, and I don't know if that comes out of my pocket. I'd quit if that happens. I'm not paying for that. So, just word to the wise: be well versed in your bylaw. Not so you can call on people and be a rat, but so you don't get ratted on, because it really sucks. It's really annoying. And like, don't want to be that guy, but the last thing I'd be doing if I was an old retired person is wasting my time street gawking and looking for people that aren't following the rules. How bored are you? Like, and they drive a nice car, and it's a nice house, and all this stuff. Like, go on vacation. Anyways, end of story.
Let's